Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. It is Denise Salcedo, and it is Saturday, October 14th. And man, it's been a while since I've been on here to talk about AEW Collision. So I know that AEW Collision, sometimes it's a little bit harder to cover because on Saturdays, sometimes we get pay-per-views. And we've had so many pay-per-views the last couple of weeks, I feel. It's been nonstop. So I'm very happy to be back here talking about AEW Collision because this was a very good show. And I feel like it always, I never know if when I tune into AEW Collision, if it's going to be a one match show in the sense that we have one really great match and then everything else is just whatever, or we go into a show and then it's phenomenal. So I feel like Collision is still the show where some weeks are great, some weeks are like whatever, but this week was definitely a good one. So I'm very happy to talk about it today, especially because I feel like we've gotten so much like new blood injected into Collision. It's such a different show in terms of the feel from when it started, when it was CM Punk's show, when CM Punk was the guy that you were seeing on a weekly basis on Collision, to now it's the Bryan Danielson, Adam Copeland, or Ricky Starks show is what it feels like. So it's two totally different shows where we're at right now. But you know what? I enjoyed it then, and you know what? I'm enjoying it right now. So we're going to get into the biggest highlights and moments of AEW Collision in just a second. But before I do, welcome to everybody. I'm seeing you guys all pulling up in the chat. Thank you guys so much for keeping the chat lit. We got a couple of super chats I want to kick things off with. The first one that we got here is from Doppelganger 399 getting us started here saying, I need Nick Wayne's mom to turn heel and leave with Christian on Wednesday. Doppelganger 399, you are a savage, my friend. You are a savage. And you know what? I would freaking love that too. But then at the same time, you want to see, like, you could go two directions, right? You could go the direction of his mom being like, how could you do this? And we can get kind of like a Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio type of situation. Obviously, Nick Wayne ain't going to wrestle his mom, but you get what I mean, where, they are not seeing eye to eye, right? Father and son, but this time, son and mother, right? So I feel like maybe we can definitely get that. I feel like that's possibly what's going to happen. Or who knows? Maybe what would happen is what you said, where all of a sudden Nick Wayne's mom is like, hey, you know what? Christian Cage flattered me, and she leaves side by side with him. I think it would be kind of cool if for a while she is, the caring, loving mom, and she's trying to get Nick Wayne to make the right choices. She doesn't want him to be aligned with Christian Cage. And then maybe down the line, all of a sudden, we get swerved and Nick Wayne's mom decides that she's interested. I don't know, but I feel like you can definitely have a lot of fun with this because there is nothing easier, guys. Nothing easier than bringing up somebody's mom. How many times haven't you heard your mom in any sort of comeback, right? Like everybody does your mom jokes, and it's very easy to get people riled up when it comes to, I don't know, mothers. So I feel like this is such an easy freaking story, and they can have a lot of fun with it. And with Christian Cage throwing out all of these, rude remarks in the sense that he supposedly sends lingerie to Nick Wayne's mom. He checks out her Instagram account. All of these little rude things and these little rude remarks that he's been making towards Nick Wayne's mom have been phenomenal. So it's a very, very easy to tell a story like this, and a fun one that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. So who knows, man? Doppelganger, you're a savage, and now I want to see it. Wyatt Cox sends in a super chat saying Shivani on commentary a 100% winner. Yeah, commentary on Collision, it really there's been so many changes, I feel, with when we had Ian Riccaboni and then we had Kevin Kelly and then they did the back and forth, and I feel like they really need to keep it steady. And yeah, Shivani was definitely a nice addition to the commentary today. But yeah, it's been I feel like they haven't gotten it just right? Like that's what they've been changing. Like they've been changing that quite a bit, I feel. Grapple Geekery DWO member says, I'm loving Skye Blue becoming a dark blue. I'm dead. Dark blue. That's hilarious, actually. She's gonna go through all the shades of blue. She's gonna come in with royal blue, all of the blues throughout her career. Every time, we're always talking about wrestlers reinventing themselves. We talk about Chris Jericho, how many times he's reinvented himself. We're gonna get throughout Skye Blue's career, all of these different shades of blue. I'm just kidding, but yeah. Jesus M, mother of pearl. Damn, guys, sorry, I just clapped really loud, so I'm so sorry to the audio listeners, but I just got a really massive super chat that I was not expecting from Infamous Raider Loco, who just sent in the biggest super chat I've gotten in a while. So, dude, holy cow, you just made it all worth it today, man. You really just made it all worth it. Thank you so much to Infamous Raider Loco for this very generous super chat, saying, been on vacation enjoying my birthday in Reno earlier this week. Dude, happy birthday, man. Happy freaking birthday. He says, boy, was it fun, and boy, did I win. So glad I'm able to do this for you because you absolutely deserve it. You're absolutely amazing at what you do, and I appreciate all the hard work. Keep it up and enjoy the weekend. Wait, so you were in Reno this week and you won? Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, man. And if any of my viewers are going out there and winning, thank you so much, man. I feel like I won now. I'm very, very happy. Infamous Raider Loco, seriously, thank you so much for these generous super chat. I never know how to thank people on these, especially because, when someone gives a generous amount like this, I feel like I don't even know what to do. So thank you so much to Infamous Raider Loco, sending you lots of love. I'm so glad you won, and I hope you're having the very best birthday week. You literally just made my Saturday today. So thank you so much. And I was feeling guilty, guys. I was feeling guilty because after Busted Open this morning, you guys know I wake up at 4 a.m. to do Busted Open. And after the show, I was like, oh, I'm going to do all of these things, right? I was thinking of all of the things I was going to do today. And then I fell asleep on my couch and I woke up at 4 right before Collision. So I was feeling very guilty today. So Infamous Raider Loco, I don't feel so guilty no more. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. Mike New York says, maybe Miro can get with Nick's mom to get CJ jealous. Oh boy. Ooh, what kind of booking is this, Mike? Damn, my brain did not even go there. We getting some attitude era booking here from Mike New York. Will Chisholm says, poor Ikmai, he will never escape the rock. Oh, Ricky Starks. Okay, I was trying to figure out where you were going with this. All right, so Will Chisholm says, poor Ricky Starks, he will never escape the rock jokes. The sad thing is if he ever goes to WWE, the jokes will get worse. And here's the thing, man. I am the biggest Ricky Starks fan, man. I'm just as big of a Ricky Starks fan as the next person. I can't wait to talk about him right now, and we will get into the rock jokes that were made. And it goes both ways, right? Like, nobody ever wants to be compared to anybody. Like, that's like the worst thing. But I don't know. It depends on how you look at this, right? If someone's comparing you to The Rock, who's literally the one of the greatest of all times, right? Everybody would love to have a career like The Rock. Anybody. He's the world's most recognizable man. Google it. I did. That's how I learned that. He's the most, I think the proper, they said he's the most famous man or the most famous recognizable face in all of the world. Like, legit. I did not know this until I Googled it a couple months ago. So anyways, but when you're compared to someone like The Rock, it can be effing great, right? Because you want to be compared against somebody who's considered the very best. But then at the same time, because somebody like The Rock is so high up here that when you're compared to someone like that, you're never going to measure up. You're never, ever. So it's almost like they're trying to set up Ricky Starks to fail, right? Whenever you're comparing him against The Rock, because then it's like, he's never going to be above The Rock. Like, that is just impossible, right? So I feel like it depends on how you look at it. I mean, how many of us here, raise your hand in the chat if you would like to be compared to The Rock? Shit, I would love to be compared to The Rock. A lot of people here would love to be compared to The Rock, but at the same time, it could be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. Abel Pantoja says, me muero for Místico on Rampage on Friday. Dude, this is going to be very exciting to see. When I saw the announcement, I just want to take a second and shout out Rocky Romero, man, because Rocky Romero is truly the forbidden door, dude. He has been, I did an interview here with Rocky Romero not too long ago. Actually, we did it after the first Forbidden Door, excuse me. It was after the first Forbidden Door, we did an interview, and he was really that bridge between the New Japan AEW relationship. And so he has been, Tony Khan has spoken about how the AEW New Japan relationship really wasn't that great kind of in the beginning, but Rocky Romero was really that person. I think that was the messenger in between both places that really helped grow that relationship with AEW and New Japan. And now we're seeing this, man. And I just want to shout out Rocky Romero for this a whole lot because that's freaking awesome. Abel Pantoja, by the way, one more thing about Rocky. Rocky's the kind of guy, by the way, that I feel like you cannot have beef with Rocky Romero. Like, there are few people in this world. Like, there's going to be awesome people, right? And even if you're awesome, there's always going to be someone who dislikes you. I don't think I've ever heard anybody dislike Rocky Romero. Like, ain't no way. And if someone has beef with Rocky Romero, it's them. It ain't Rocky, man. Like, he's a pretty cool dude. Will Chisholm says, I love the people in the opening segment, but I hate the WWE. One person comes out after another. We'll talk about the opening segment in just a second. Thank you so much to Will Chisholm for the super chat. And all right, we got let's get into actually what happened on this show. So let's go. All right, so we got some. Okay, here, I'm going to read this really quick. This is from Jose Million, who says, he looks like a young Rock. He doesn't try to imitate him like the guy who yells, yeah. So another guy who's also been compared to The Rock is LA Knight. And LA Knight, and it's funny because LA Knight and Ricky Starks are two totally different people that have been compared to The Rock. And it's funny because I feel like, again, this really depends on how people look at this and how you look at the comparisons of The Rock. When I see people compare LA Knight to The Rock, I get what they're saying in terms of the tone, but I can't go that far and say, oh yeah, LA Knight is like The Rock. No, I can't see it that way. And it's the same thing with Ricky Starks, guys. Like, Ricky Starks is freaking awesome. But I feel like having those comparisons, calling him The Rock, takes away from his own talents. Like, Ricky Starks is so freaking talented and so freaking good on the microphone. And so sometimes when he does get those Rock comparisons or those Rock shots, it does take away from the work that, he has done. So, like, no matter what, he gets hot, he gets heated, he does the thing, he goes on fire, he's on fire on promo. No matter what, people are going to be comparing him to The Rock. All right, but let's get to this. All right, so where did this all come from? Where did this all start? Let's talk about it. So Adam Copeland kicks off AEW Collision. And like I said, he is one of the new faces of AEW Collision. Smart, because Tony definitely needed somebody, guys. I was there the Collision, hours after we found out that AEW had fired CM Punk. And I remember walking in that hallway and seeing fans that were so pissed off. And CM Punk, like him or hate him, he was a big part of that show. And he was the reason why I even started covering Collision in the first place. If CM Punk would not have been on Collision, I don't know that I would have made time to come out here on my Saturdays to cover AEW Collision. And so you definitely needed somebody or a couple of people you needed stars on the show. And so, of course, we got Bryan Danielson. He was made one immediately after, and he's done amazing wonders, and he really picked up and took running the storyline with Ricky Starks and really made it his own. But another person who has now been injected into AEW Collision is Adam Copeland. And right now that he's just got to AEW, he's so fresh. Everything he does on AEW is brand new. So it is going to feel like a big deal when he's there. So he comes out and he calls out Christian Cage. Christian Cage comes out with a shit ton of security, so many securities. Christian Cage, dude, we're going to talk quite a bit about this man today. So he basically says that he's going to prove that he is the best wrestler. He tells Adam that he said all of the things that he said to him to protect him because Christian Cage is the best wrestler. And Bryan Danielson then comes out and he tells Christian that his guys, his buddies, Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne, are banned from ringside for their match that's occurring later on. And then we get Ricky Starks. And he comes out with Big Bill, who is his tag team partner. They're the tag team champions. A big surprise that happened. I think it was last week's Collision. And he says that he only has respect for Adam Copeland and that he doesn't have respect for Adam Copeland or Bryan Danielson, that he only has respect for Christian. And then this is where we get my favorite part of this. So we talked a lot about the Rock comparisons and Ricky Starks. We got some heated back and forth between Adam Copeland and Ricky Starks here. This reminded me of, when, have you guys ever kind of been a part of a conversation, a part of any sort of conversation, and there's that one person that you're like, I hate that mother effer. I hate that guy. Like, that guy's stupid. I hate him. And even though you're trying to remain chill, all of a sudden you end up in a fight with this person, and then you guys start going back and forth and throwing shots at each other. I don't know if that's ever happened to any one of you guys, but that is the best way to describe Adam Copeland and Ricky Starks here. I almost feel like this kind of happened like when you see a lot of these promos, sometimes a lot of times, like, it feels, some things feel rehearsed, right? Some things really feel rehearsed. This little riff off between Adam and Ricky Starks kind of felt like they lit this fire where all of a sudden this really wasn't the focus, and it became the thing that I want to talk about. Like, I need to see Adam Copeland, Ricky Starks now, because of those few little seconds that we got of them throwing shots to one another. And basically, it was along the lines of Ricky Starks basically saying that he called them bug eyes. It was so freaking... I'm dying because have you ever seen Edge do like you've seen Edge where he does like the face where he's got like the big eyes? And so Ricky Starks calling them bug eyes was really freaking hilarious, actually. And Edge makes fun of his pants, and Ricky Starks says, oh, well, clearly you didn't take any style from that other place, referring to WWE. And then, he pissed off Adam so much because then Adam basically calls him a ripoff of The Rock and says he's a ripoff of him. And then, of course, that is going to be Ricky Starks' trigger. So then he basically fights back and he says, oh, like, that's it. Like, you clearly didn't come with any, you really sent me on the edge of my seat is what he said. So it felt like something that wasn't supposed to be like the biggest thing out of this, but to me, this was the biggest, most juiciest, most spiciest portion of all of what we got here. And we got some more to get into. So this was fun. I need them to circle back to Adam Copeland and Ricky Starks because they've got something right there. And that's the thing too. Ricky Starks, CM Punk, phenomenal. Ricky Starks, Bryan Danielson, phenomenal. How do you keep this going? Ricky Starks, Adam Copeland, let's get there because that was fire, guys. That was fire. All right. FTR comes out and they talk about losing their titles, and they basically said that Big Bill and Ricky Starks are not the best team that they were on that night, but the show must go on. They decided to do the match, that everybody's always banged up. They were banged up, but they still decided to do the match. It was the bad decision to make, and thus they ended up losing the titles. And so we end up getting this big brawl, and we see the baby faces fight the security guards, and that's kind of what we got from the opening segment. We got a super chat here from Stephen Marchuli who says, Ricky Starks has the typical WWE wrestler attributes, much like Jade. I don't know. I don't remember when Ricky Starks' AEW contract is up, but he is going to be a guy that I can definitely see going to WWE, or at least being on the verge of going to WWE, because to me, I'm just going to say it, I'm a way bigger fan of Ricky Starks than I am LA Knight. I think if you put Ricky Starks and LA Knight together in the ring in like any sort of like face-off promo war, I think Ricky Starks is winning that all the way. And I know that's not the popular choice. I know some people are going to be here going, how dare you, Denise? LA Knight's way better than Ricky Starks. I don't think so. I think Ricky Starks, and I hate to compare the two, but the two came up because we were talking about The Rock and shit like that. But I'm a much bigger fan of Ricky Starks. I think he checks all the boxes in terms of everything that you need. Not only is he great, has a phenomenal look, but is also a really great wrestler. So you really got a whole lot with Ricky Starks there. And I feel like right now you got Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, you got LA Knight, all of these guys that are on the precipice of, being bigger and better, right? They've been trying to do something with Austin Theory. The Grayson Waller has been doing phenomenal work as well. Really great on the mic, also really good in ring. I think Grayson Waller is going to continue to benefit from being in programs with the people that he's been in programs with. So he's going to clearly get a lot even better. But I do see Ricky Starks coming in there and being more ready than all of those guys right now, because he has been in these like forefront situations again with talent like CM Punk, Bryan Danielson. Let's not forget the work that he did with MJF. All of this stuff has been setting him up for greatness. He's killing it on AEW. I do think that WWE, man, if I'm WWE, I would freaking love to have Ricky Starks on my show. That's for sure. And if I'm Tony Khan, I would not want to let go of Ricky Starks. And that's how you get yourself big, guys. That's how you make yourself into a hot god dang commodity. Like, that's what you want. That's like the goal, right? To have people wanting you because you are the best, or one of the best, right? Somebody with a lot of potential. So Stephen Marchuli, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, I can definitely see it happening for Ricky Starks. Billy Rock sends in a super chat. Thank you so much to Billy, who says, I strongly believe that Adam Copeland will become TNT champion. I would love to see that happen. I think that's probably where this is all headed to, right? Like, don't you feel like that may be the end game? Because at some point, Christian Cage has got to come down from cloud 9, man. And it's going to be funny as hell when he does. We'll see. I mean, I think there's a good chance that that's where this story is going to end up. Billy Rock, thank you so much for the super chat. As always, I appreciate it, man. All right. So let's get into, we need to talk more about this. So we need to talk more about what went down with all of these guys here. So let's get into, so we did find out, as we mentioned earlier, that we're going to see Nick Wayne do a sit-down interview on AEW Dynamite with his mother there. We talked about that already. So I want to get into the main event already, because I want to keep this all nice and tidied up. So Christian Cage versus Bryan Danielson for the TNT Championship. And going into this match, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this one's tough, right? It's tough because Bryan Danielson isn't going to be losing cleanly to Christian Cage. And I don't mean that in the bad way, but just basically with what they've been doing, you knew that if Bryan Danielson was going to lose, it was going to have to be some sort of interference, some sort of shenanigans were going to play out. And Christian Cage right now is gold. He's gold right now with everything that he's doing. Christian Cage has been great in WWE. He's been great in Impact Wrestling. And now he's great in AEW. Okay. Like, this whole daddy, dead father stuff that he's been doing is really, really working. It's entertaining. It's fun to watch. You love to hate him and you love to have him be a jerk. Like, that is what I want, right? Like, that's what the people want. If Christian Cage could roast any one of us, I think we would take it. We would be scared to death, but you know what? We would take a roasting from Christian Cage because he is that entertaining. And obviously, he's a great wrestler. We already know that. We've known that for decades, whatever. But the point is that he's checking all the boxes right now. And there was a bit where, when he first came into AEW, he was just Christian. Like, he was just Christian. Like, we love Christian, but he was just Christian. The feud with Jungle Boy, he freaking did great work with Jungle Boy. Like, he made Jungle Boy. He made you care about Jungle Boy in a way that you probably didn't care about him before. And I'm not saying that to take away from Jungle Boy back then, but he really took him to a whole different plateau in AEW. And it was good shit that they did there too, right? And of course, this kind of started the catalyst of the dead father, the whole feud with Jungle Boy. And he's carried that through. And so he's checking all the dang boxes. So I knew going into this match that Christian Cage had to retain the championship. So I was watching this match going, damn, how are they going to have Bryan Danielson lose? I knew he was going to lose, but I just didn't know how they were going to do it. So the body of the match, by the way, was phenomenal. Like, you had people chanting, "This is awesome," because this was a damn solid match with two guys that, of course, have been in the business for years and years, have done it about all. They are big names, so you know as how they know what they're doing when they're in there for sure. And during this, we saw Christian go after the shoulder, the arm of Bryan Danielson, given that Bryan Danielson injured that arm and is basically coming back after that. So that was something that he had hurt. I think it was the Okada match was when he hurt that. So he went after that. Of course, Christian went after that. We know it. And during this, man, there was some good stuff that happened. So I want to fast forward to the ending here, because during this, there was some great moments. Like, we see Danielson get this phenomenal reaction because after Christian Cage, was targeting the arm of Bryan Danielson, there was a moment where Bryan sped up the match and just clotheslined Christian Cage, and the people were standing up on their feet. Like, all of everything that they did build up to this moment. And so we end up seeing Danielson get him with the yes kicks. We see Danielson get him with a dive to the outside. And then we see Christian Cage hit a frog splash. Really nice frog splash too. More yes kicks from Bryan Danielson. And then there's a moment where Christian spears Bryan and hits the kill switch. And you're thinking, can this be it? Is this the moment? But it doesn't happen. It's not over yet. We then see Bryan pull out all the stops, come running in with the Bo Psycho knee, and gets goes for the cover. It's a near fall. Christian kicks out at 2. And then we get Bryan locking in the label lock, and Christian gets out of it by getting his foot on the ropes. He barely makes it. And this is the part that I also loved. Bryan tries to get in the label lock again, but he's unable to really get a good grip on it because of all of the pain that he sustained in that shoulder that Christian had been targeting throughout the entire match. And so then for the actual finish of this, Big Bill comes in, distracts the referee. Ricky Starks goes in and hits Bryan Danielson with the championship belt. And so Christian Cage gets the win. Referee never sees it, and that is how he comes out on top. So that is pretty much what we were expecting. Again, some sort of shenanigans to happen in this match. That's what went down, and I am digging this because for the closing of the show, we had FTR go out there, Luchasaurus, Adam Copeland, all of these guys that we saw in the opening of the show go out there, and they had this big brawl once again. So one of the things that we've been seeing, if you've been paying close attention, is Adam Copeland has really there's been a lot of brawls since Adam came into AEW. I feel like we've been seeing a whole lot of this. We saw it on Dynamite. We saw it at the top of the show with the referees. With the securities and the baby faces. And then we saw it at the end of today's show too. So we're really getting a mixture of all of these guys that are feuding with one another, all get involved in these brawl-like scenarios. So I think that's been something that I've been picking up on what Adam Copeland has been doing and bringing to AEW. And it was great because the last thing we saw was Nick Wayne outnumbered 4-on-1, and Adam comes in and just spears the living life out of Nick Wayne. So that was kind of fun to see as well. So that's what's been going down with all of these guys. That's the biggest topic, I would say, from Collision, but we still got so much more to get into. So let's get to it, guys. Let's get to it. My name is Not Arrow says, how long was the match? I don't know the exact time of how long the match was, but I think the match started with 30 minutes left on the show. So there, and then of course there's commercial breaks, but I think there was like 30 or 25 minutes left on the show. And I'm usually behind when I'm watching AEW because I tend to fall behind a little bit because there's times where I'm writing my notes and I need to pause things or else I'll miss something. So I'm always a little bit behind. So I don't know if they, what time they actually ended, because for me, they always end late because I'm always behind on the shows. But anyways, it's been really, really good stuff, man. Really, really good stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and press on from here and talk about some more of what we saw on Collision. Once again, guys, if you want to send in some super chats, get your comments read, please feel free to do so. You know what? I'm going to take this time, actually, right now before we segue into our next topic. I'm going to say, I haven't decided, but either Sunday or Monday, I'm going to have a pretty cool announcement. I'm going to have an announcement, guys. I'm going to make my little Tony Khan graphic. I'm going to make an announcement either on Sunday or Monday about something really cool coming to this YouTube channel. So keep an eye out. I haven't decided. I want to do it on Monday because I feel like that's the day that people are on Twitter. But then I'm really excited about it, so I kind of want to do it tomorrow. I wanted to do it today, but I took a nap. so I'm thinking maybe tomorrow or Monday. So keep an eye out on social media and all of that, all right? Keep an eye out. All right, let's get into our next topic. And this is a little bit more of a serious one. And this is, we got a video package of MJF. And MJF was a pretty big topic. Well, he always is a big topic, right? Always. There's always something going on with MJF. But last week on AEW Dynamite, it was a big topic because of basically what they did on the show where they had Juice Robinson bring out coins. And so that literally went viral. There was a lot of people that were angry, that were upset about it. And MJF put out a whole tweet about it. I mean, there's just a lot that went down with that. I think TMZ even picked it up. It was a whole thing. So today they showed this video of basically following MJF around, and he was at a sports leader convention, and they did like a conference about stopping Jewish hate. And so throughout this was really cool. This was just him, being shown at the convention. He's talking with the owner of the Patriots, Robert Kraft, and they're talking about why it's important to be there, why they are out there sending this message, why they are out there advocating for this. And one of the closing things that we saw was MJF basically saying, that they want to educate people because, they make up 2% of the population is what he said. And there is, I think he said 55% of the religious hate is towards Jewish people. And so he definitely, this was to spread the message, spread awareness about stopping Jewish hate. And so this was, and I think the website, let me make sure I get the website right, guys. I think it was Stand Up. Yeah, okay. So for those of you who want to check it up, there's a website and a hashtag as well. The website is standuptojewishhate.org, and the hashtag is standuptojewishhate. So this is probably definitely something to look into. Once again, that is standuptojewishhate.org. So that's kind of what we saw. So I think they kind of basically used what we saw last week as a way to kind of, in their own way, use it for a storyline, but also use it to send out a very serious message during the show. So that's what we got with MJF here. So we got with MJF here today. All right, let's go ahead and get into Samoa Joe versus Willie Mack for the Ring of Honor TV Championship. Guys, if you know me, you know that this match was a match that I was really looking forward to. When I saw this match was announced for Collision, I was like, hell yeah, because I freaking love Willie Mack, everybody. Like, Willie Mack has been my favorite for years. I've said this so many times. I love his work in the Independents, love his work in Mexico, loved his work in Impact, love anytime he's on AEW or Ring of Honor television. This dude knows what's up. He keeps it cool. He goes out there, he does the job, very happy to see a guy like Willie Mack get moments like this. I was very happy to see him in this match with Samoa Joe. This was two beefy men, man. That's really what it was here. I thought commentary did a really phenomenal job of kind of putting over some of the, the background of Willie Mack and talking about how he emancipated himself when he was a young kid and kind of talked a little bit about his hard upbringing. And he's just a cool dude. So this match here was a lot of fun. Like, we see Willie chop Samoa Joe a couple of times. That was fun. We see him hit a cannonball on Samoa Joe. So he got a lot of really little cool moments. But this was just a really strong win for Samoa Joe. It looked really awesome when he picked up Willie Mack for the Muscle Buster. Because, dude, like, you're picking up this like 200 and something pound man over your freaking shoulder, holding him up to then execute the Muscle Buster on a guy like the size of Willie Mack. That is always very freaking impressive. So I thought this Muscle Buster, chef's kiss, was very fun, very enjoyable to see. So this was definitely something that I enjoyed on today's show. And I feel like they should keep it going, man. Keep going. Like, keep doing stuff with Willie Mack. Keep coming him back up here. It kind of seemed like this was the end. Like, there really wasn't going to be any more. But I would really like it, man, if they continued having something with Samoa Joe and Willie Mack and really telling a little story here. I think that would be really fun. But it looks like they're just keeping it going with Samoa Joe, which is fine, because when it comes to Samoa Joe, you just want to see him wrestle anybody. Like, let's be real. Like, he could wrestle this freaking water bottle and that shit would be freaking entertaining. So we'll see about that. Now, Rally Cap says yeet. If you were here on the Smackdown podcast, you guys know I am on Roman Reigns' side, and I also hate the word yeet. So don't you yeet in my chat. Just kidding. That's heel move, guys. I know saying that we're going to get a bunch of yeet messages. See, look, they're already coming in. Mike New York, neat. Rally getting us going with the yeet. I hate yeet. All right. But I don't hate meat, that's for sure. And that's what Samoa Joe Willie Mack was. All right, moving on from here. See, I knew it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. All the yeets coming in. All right. Let's get into CJ Perry and Action Andretti and Miro and all of this stuff. So CJ Perry gets interviewed backstage, and she's talking about how she is going to be, she wants to send a message out, right? She wants to get some clients. She's there to help talent take gold, make champions, become stars. She wants to help guide people. And so this is the message she sends to the roster. And then poor little Action Andretti comes up, and he's like, hey, man, like, I'm just a phone call away. And so we kind of get a little moment where I'm looking at this and I'm going, yes, CJ Perry managing Action Andretti? I'm here for that, because Action Andretti, let's not forget that this guy defeated Chris Jericho. Do you guys remember, like, that big, massive moment where he had this surprise defeat over Chris Jericho? And that was like peak right there for Action Andretti. And I'm thinking, oh, man, they're really going to strap a rocket to this kid, man. He's going to blow the hell up. And they didn't really follow through on that. He defeated Chris Jericho, had an awesome moment, and then it just went womp, womp, womp. And so I'm looking at this and I'm going, please put him with CJ Perry. Let him like start showing some personality, because he's already good in the ring, right? And the guy's only getting better. Just keep putting him in matches with people. It's going to be great, right? But he needs somebody, I think, to be a mouthpiece, right? And if he was out there with CJ Perry doing all of the speaking and talking for him, I think that would be phenomenal for Action Andretti. Well, Miro does a promo later on the show. He does a little vignette. And he's talking about how CJ Perry is evil. She's evil. And she's just there to get gold. But that gold makes her more dangerous. And he's going to kill off anybody who gets near or works with CJ Perry. He says, I'm willing to destroy every man to protect this woman. This is the promise of the Redeemer. And so we're getting Miro versus Action Andretti next week. Guys, I'm trying to get into the storyline. I really am. Look in my face. I'm trying to care. I really am trying to care. I'm struggling a little bit with this one, though, because I feel like I get it. Like, I feel we got what we have here is, I don't know how many of you guys have seen The War of the Roses. The War of the Roses, or if you haven't seen that movie, maybe A Marriage Story. right? Where you got a married couple that are just not seeing eye to eye, right? They're both right, but they're also both wrong. That's literally what we're getting here with CJ Perry and Miro, where I feel Miro is trying to paint out CJ Perry as this evil person, right? Because he really knows the true CJ Perry, right? He really knows who she is. So he's trying to paint her as this evil, evil woman. But then you look at CJ Perry and you're like, well, is she doing anything wrong? Not really. She's just out there trying to manage people. She's not really doing anything wrong. But then you're waiting for it. You're like, why is Miro saying she's so manipulative and so evil? But at the same time, Miro is obsessed with her. He's obsessed with CJ Perry and the good side of CJ Perry, the bad side of CJ Perry. This is literally every married couple with drama. Any married couple that's got drama, this feels like Miro CJ Perry. And so in that way, I'm interested in the story, right? Because I would like to see something like that. I want to see, a husband and a wife get into a very, very dramatic story. That would be cool. I'm interested in that. Very am interested in that. So, but right now I feel like they kind of have to speed it up a little bit because, and thankfully next week we are getting the match with Miro and Action Andretti. So I hope that they kind of start to speed things up because if not, then you're going to lose interest on what could possibly be a cool story. So I'm interested to see what they can do here, but I hope they kind of just get to the point already. And I do want to see CJ Perry actually manage a couple of people. I hope she does because then that's kind of like the point, right? I think it would be great to see CJ Perry successfully manage someone and then have Miro be like completely distraught and upset that she's out there succeeding with somebody that isn't him. We'll see. Billy Rock sends in a super chat saying, yeet, yeet, yeetamania. Yeetamania. I like that. Yeetamania. It's a fun word to say. Billy Rock, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Y'all can yeet as much as you want in the super chats. I will let you yeet all day. Billy Rock, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. All right. So let's press on from here and get into Juice Robinson and Christopher Daniels. There's only so much to say. This was a very quick, very simple match. Nothing really to discuss for the body of this match. Juice Robinson wins. Afterwards, we see Bullet Club Gold attack Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels has no friends because nobody comes out to help him out. Like, this dude is telling relations, and ain't nobody came out to help the man out. Like, nobody came out to help out this man. If I were him, I'd be really petty about it. Anyways, we're going to be seeing Jay White versus Penta next week. Jay White still has MJF's Triple B. And of course, we're heading into that match at Full Gear, which I'm really excited about. But basically, the whole thing that we got here is Juice Robinson is coming for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. He wants it. Jay White says that MJF's world is going to fall apart, and it's going to start off with Juice taking the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and then he's going to take away the title. And I am so interested in what that's going to look like. Like, I want to see those two things happen. I really, really do. So I'm really hoping for Jay White to get the win at Full Gear. We'll see if it happens. I don't know. We also got a promo from Dustin Rhodes, a really cool one where he basically says he's going to be in the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. And he is basically there. He wants to have glory. He wants to become AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and his path to glory starts Wednesday night. So a good little promo from Dustin and a good way to get excited about the Battle Royal. We got a super chat here from Jared Clark. Thank you so much to Gerard. I remember Gerard, not Jared, Gerard. Gerard says, hey, Denise, the criticism of the TNT Championship was based on the bad booking of TK. No offense, it's the man that makes the title prestigious. So yeah, when it comes to the man makes the title or the title makes the man, I've always been on the side of the man makes the title. Like, always 1000%. To me, the man makes the championship. And yes, Christian Cage has been making that TNT championship a whole lot. A perfect example. We talk about this all the time. Need to bring it up. Who made that AEW International Championship? Orange Cassidy made the AEW International Championship. Like, he made a bout that was brought in where who knows what the interest was in that championship belt. But after Orange Cassidy defended it so many times beautifully, all of a sudden, all the other guys are like, that bout, I want that bout, because now that bout means something. And of course, we've had a lot of great TNT champions, a whole lot, but in this recent iteration of it, Christian Cage has been killing it. Thank you so much to Gerard. It takes me a second. You can see me stumbling and thinking about it, but thank you so much, dude, for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. All right. So a big match that was made for AEW Collision started off with Kyle Fletcher getting a quick victory over Boulder of the Iron Savages. And as you guys know, Mark Davis, his tag team partner, is injured. He's out with a wrist injury. He's been out since Wrestle Dream. And so I'm loving that they're keeping Kyle Fletcher basically going on a singles run. And the big thing about this is that after he defeats Boulder, he gets him with a power bomb, gets the win. He gets him with the Dragon Sleeper, gets power bomb, Dragon Sleeper, gets the win. And then he cuts a promo. And he starts talking about how he's only 24 years old and he feels that he's the best wrestler. He feels that he's the best wrestler, right? And I'm looking at this and I'm going, first I'm thinking like, all right, everybody says that, right? Every young guy says they're best wrestler of the world. Where are we going with this? What are you going to say, Kyle? What's next? And then he starts talking about how he wants to call out the measuring stick, a guy that he's been in the ring with, in three-way matches and, six-man matches and all of that, right? He calls out Kenny Omega. And I'm like, yo, dude, Kyle Fletcher's out here cooking. I'm out here thinking he was going to cut some like whatever promo about how he's going to be the best wrestler ever. I was not expecting him to call out Kenny Omega. So next week we are officially getting Kyle Fletcher versus Kenny Omega on AEW Dynamite. And that one is going to be fun based on what we've seen in these multi-man matches, based on those interactions. You know that Kyle Fletcher, Kenny Omega is going to be a fun one. So that's definitely something to look forward to. And I'm excited that they're using Kyle Fletcher still. Like they could have easily just put the guy out on the shelf because his partner's out. They could have easily done that. And you know what? They didn't. So this could be a blessing in disguise for Kyle Fletcher. We got the Acclaimed backstage. They're talking about how they've been trios champs for 48 days. And Max Caster, we've kind of seen him obsessing over MJF a little bit in a way that can be misconstrued. Not really sure what to make of that yet because it's still not totally clear where they're going with this. But here's something, and maybe the chat here can help me understand this because I'm a little bit thrown here. And by this, I mean that part of the reason why the Acclaimed got over is because they were cool guys, right? Like they were cool. They were out there being silly, making up terms like scissor me daddy ass, calling Billy Gunn daddy ass, doing scissoring. They really got something over in AEW. They're rapping. They're burning other people. They are a cool group of guys, right? Like they're a cool team. But now, all of a sudden, Max Caster is this like, all of a sudden he's become uncool is what they're telling us. He doesn't know how to talk to women. He has a hard time socializing. He's awkward. And I'm thinking, when did this happen? Why? Like I'm sorry, but I never saw Max Caster or Anthony Bowens as uncool before. And Max Caster, they're trying to teach him how to like talk to people. And so Billy and Anthony Bowens are kind of training him, and they start telling him like, okay, you're going to practice on Renee, and you're going to tell Renee something nice. Whatever the first thing comes up to you, you're going to tell her something nice. So they call back Renee and Max Caster, and Max tells her, so how about the oral sessions? And she's like, you idiot. And she yells at him and she walks off and she's pissed off. And they start yelling at him like, why'd you say that to her? And so now he's supposed to be this uncool dude. When did this happen? Why am I all of a sudden supposed to see Max Caster as uncool? I never saw him that way. So it's kind of, I feel like this is, I don't know, this doesn't feel natural to me. This doesn't feel natural. I know it can be funny because it was funny today. So I know they're trying to get some good comedy out of it, but I just don't see Max Caster as uncool. The dude can rap. The dude came up with some fun stuff. I don't know. I just don't see the awkward, not being able to socialize type of guy. So we'll see. It's new. We'll see what they do with it. We'll see how they run with it. But so far right now, I'm not totally sure what to make of this. John Deller says too much scissoring going on. Has the scissoring gone into his head? I don't know. All right, moving on to a match that I really, really enjoyed, thoroughly enjoyed, actually. It is Skye Blue versus Chris Statlander. Damn, guys. Oh, yeah. So the big thing that I want to say of this is that Skye Blue, for a long time, we were always talking about, oh my God, this girl, she has so much potential. She's going to be this. She's going to be phenomenal. She's going to be great. She's going to be all of this stuff, right? I feel like so for a period of time, we were just talking about her potential, her potential, her potential, her potential. But now we're really starting to see this growth. I remember when we were seeing all of these squash matches that Skye Blue was in, and I remember saying, like, damn, let's do more with her. We've seen so many squash matches. That's all I feel we've been seeing. But lately, we've started to really see Skye Blue change. She's not only on the storyline wise, she's changing, but in terms of in-ring, she's changing too, and changing for the better. And I think growing is rather the better word instead of changing, because I feel like, based on the first time that I saw Skye Blue and based on how she was in this match, to me, her growth in the ring feels like day and night, man. She was going out there. She was laying it in. There was a specific moment. I believe it was a super kick, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was a super kick that she hit on Chris Statlander, where I looked at her and I thought, you know what? She's just coming in and she's just really, really, she's just laying it in a lot more. She comes across more aggressive, and so it makes you take interest in all of the little things that she does in the match. And this is huge because, again, before, we were always seeing her in squash matches, and we were always like, there was moments where you would see a little bit more than that for Skye Blue, but for the most part, that was it. And so now, like, this match with Chris Statlander, had this match gone like 2 more minutes, I don't know, 3 more minutes, dude, this would have been a match that I feel everybody on social media would have been talking about, because they almost had a really, really great match. Like, it was good, but I think a little bit more time and it would have been even better. This was a match that I really loved. And what they've been telling here is that Skye Blue is changing. We're seeing her come out with this makeup that she's really never worn before. Very cool. Whoever's doing her makeup, I don't know exactly who's doing her makeup. May just be AEW's makeup department, but whoever's doing Skye Blue's makeup, if she's doing it herself, I don't know. But whoever's doing her makeup is doing a phenomenal job, because that looks incredibly hard to do. And I can tell you that I could not do that to my own face. So the fact that, like, that just looked really, really cool. And so we're seeing this. Commentary is making sure to note that, you know, she's changing. During this match, she looked angry and frustrated when she couldn't get the win over Chris Statlander. They're really zooming in on her face, and she's really angry. So we're seeing this character change in Skye Blue. So I'm looking forward to that, because before, Skye Blue was just Skye Blue. That was it. All you really knew about her was that she was new, she had potential, and she really liked the color blue. There wasn't anything else there. And so now we're starting to see an angry version of Skye Blue. We're starting to see something different. And this is exactly what her character needed. And this match with Chris Statlander was freaking awesome. I love this match. Chris hits the Saturday Night Fever for the win. And there was even a part of me that wanted Skye to win. Honestly, there was a part of me that wanted Skye to defeat Chris. A huge part of me that wanted to see that. But it was good stuff, guys. It was good stuff. I'm a fan of that. All right. Really quickly, we also had a vignette saying Rush is back. We also had a quick squash match with Keith Lee versus Turbo Floyd. Very, very quick squash there. He wins with a power bomb. Shane Taylor's watching. So, you know, they're continuing that. That's fine. And we already talked about the Miro stuff. And damn, that's it, actually. We covered all of AEW Collision. I like to start off now with by the way, for those of you who tune into the podcast on a regular basis, I've been switching up the format. Before, I used to go in chronological order, and now I'm kind of going with the biggest stories first and then everything else that follows afterwards. Let me know which method you like most. You can leave me a comment here in the chat, or you can leave one in the YouTube comment section, or you can tweet me, Facebook me, whatever, because I had a couple of people asking me about that, like what my order is, and I kind of got bored of doing it the way that I was doing it originally, going in chronological order. So now I'm kind of going in biggest story first and then everything else. So let me know. Give me some feedback. Want to know what you guys prefer here. Next week, we are going to be seeing Collision and Battle of the Bouts go on the same night. So it's going to be back-to-back shows. I don't know what I want to do for next week. I will definitely be here for, of course, NXT, Dynamite, Smackdown. On Saturday, though, we also have Bound for Glory. So I'm debating if I want to cover Bound for Glory or if I want to cover Collision. If you guys have a preference, please let me know too, because that will kind of help me out and gauge what people want to talk about and what might possibly be the more interesting thing. Right now, they're going to have to do a whole lot to get me into Battle of the Bouts. I've kind of been skipping Battle of the Bouts, so I don't know if I'm going to want to watch Battle of the Bouts. Keep in mind, this is a Saturday, guys. I still want to have a life of my own on a Saturday. So let me know what you guys prefer. And we got a lot of people here saying that, okay, John Deller says he likes the way that I'm doing it now, the format. Fernando says either format is great for him too. All right, I appreciate it, guys. I like having that little bit of a feedback. Starman Production says, you are a wrestling nerd. Honestly, yeah. I really am. I mean, it's my job, right? Like, it's my job. So my whole brain is filled with just wrestling the whole week, guys. It really consumes your life, especially when there's so freaking much, so many shows, so much news, just a whole lot going out. So anytime I get to like break away and do anything else, I see it as a cleanse, right? I love to watch TV and movies and things like that just to get a cleanse and then come back and see wrestling in a whole new light than I did the day before. So there you go. All right, we got DJ says, depending on the card, I'd say Bound for Glory right now, but till Wednesday. We'll see, guys. We'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out and see what I will be interested in covering. Tronan says he'll be at Collision next week and he's looking forward to that. Dude, have a good time at the show. All right, everyone, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you did, please let me know. Tweet it out, support, share it with your friends. It would really help me out a whole lot. But more importantly, guys, please head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. I'm still trying to get to 100 reviews. I'm still at 58. Please go there, check out the podcast. It would really help me out a whole lot. I'm trying to get my numbers back up. So if you guys help me out, that would be really freaking awesome. Other than that, I will see you guys next week. And then keep an eye out for my special announcement. All right, everyone. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.